Well, today is an exciting day for me, for our community, and for the Republican Party. I'm just delighted to stand here in front of you as I formally announce my candidacy to become the next governor of Virginia. All right, well, I want to tell you, I'm ready to lead if you're ready to win. Bowling and I are going to ask you to do over these next 219 days. But here's the first one. Take out your cell phones. I know you usually say turn off your cell phones, but take out your cell phones. There's going to be some really interesting instructions I'm going to ask you to do as we run one of the most technologically savvy campaigns in Virginia history. What I want you to do is to type in, I want you to do a text message right now to Go Bob. That's 46262. Type that in, and then all you got to do is send a quick message. VA. That's all. VA, hit send. And wait 30 seconds. What you're going to do is you're going to get on board with the McDonnell campaign and sign up for our text messages that you're going to get morning, noon, and night for the next 7 months to tell you about everything going on in the campaign. So if you didn't do it now, do it soon, and you'll keep in touch. Let me tell you, the next governor of Virginia will have one sole priority, and that is to bring people of Virginia together, to solve problems, to get our economy moving together, again, to create jobs and opportunity for the citizens of Virginia. That's our top mission. Today we clearly face challenges together in Virginia. Because of the economic downturn, people are hurting and anxious about their future. Life savings diminish while the cost of living goes up. Our home values are going down while property tax rates are going up. It's harder to get your children into some of the Virginia's finest colleges, and when they get there, tuitions are up and the cost of textbooks are up. Family time goes down as the commute times on our highways go up. And I can tell you, whether I'm in Henrico or Leesburg or Lee County, I don't have a day that goes by when someone doesn't tell me about some personal hardship that they're enduring because of the nature of our economy. So as your next governor, I will make the top priority growing opportunity and creating jobs. To every small business owner that's been trying to make a payroll, to every retiree who's concerned about their retirement account, to every homeowner struggling to make that next mortgage payment, to every parent writing that new next tuition check to the university, this campaign is for you, and this campaign is about you. I envision a Virginia where that displaced Circuit City worker or that graduate from VCU is able to get the new job of their dreams. I envision a Virginia that creates stories like that of Belly Dietrich Hall, who came here from the Philippines 28 years ago, where in the Philippines she made her living by selling vegetables and firewood from a basket on her head. Today, she's run for office as a Republican in Fairfax County, and she currently runs a successful defense contracting business. That's the American dream. But if we're going to get there and keep that dream alive, we've got to be able to have new policies that encourage entrepreneurship and investment. The days are over when we can rely on our laurels of being number one in the rankings. So, our vision for Virginia must be bold and it must be big. In the words of the business writers James Collins and Jerry Porras, we must set big, hairy, audacious goals for the Commonwealth of Virginia. I think our economic revival that we can take care of here in Virginia starts with one question. That is, do the policies of Virginia make it easier or make it harder to grow jobs and grow business in our state? My first goal as governor will be to make Virginia the #1 place to do business and for small businesses in our Commonwealth, because they create 70% of all jobs. bureaucracy and get a business in business within 48 hours by cutting the permit times. We're going to make sure that Virginia is the top place in the country for tourism and for film production, because we've got the beauty and the culture and the history of our people that should incentivize people to come here. We're going to set a goal to be the #1 commercial spaceport in America right here at Wallops Island, Virginia. We now in Virginia have an unprecedented opportunity with our great state resources to be the #1 place in America for energy research and energy production. I support drilling for oil and gas 50 miles off the coast. And I do so because Virginia now has the chance to be the first state on the East Coast in 2011 to be able to sell its lease to get companies here to come to Virginia to explore and drill for gas and oil. I think it's environmentally safe. It will create thousands of jobs, billions in investment, and hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. It's time to start now. So I say to our Virginians, let's put ideology aside and let's be comprehensive when it comes to our approach to Virginia's energy future. Yes, we need to develop wind and solar and hydro and green energy and renewables, and we'll do that. But you know what? We also need oil and gas and need to speed up the approval and permitting process for nuclear and clean coal right here in Virginia. And I pledge to you that I will be that governor that will take a comprehensive approach to use all Virginia's energy resources to take care of our people. But we'll also make it easier for entrepreneurs to be able to protect the environment while creating good energy jobs. We will establish a green jobs tax-free zone right here in Virginia, like they've done in other states, in order to incentivize renewable energy technologies and get entrepreneurs to get to work. Now, to ensure that new jobs continue to grow in Virginia, it's vitally important that we protect Virginia's sacred right-to-work law in our Commonwealth. That has been a cornerstone of the prosperity of Virginia and why people come here. But that right-to-work law and the spirit of that right-to-work law is under attack in the Congress with the job-killing card check legislation that's being pushed by the big national unions. I think the job of the governor is to put people of Virginia first in order to create jobs and opportunity for our citizens. Now, all three of my opponents look at it a little bit differently. They recently were marching in a union picket line in Fairfax County, and now they refuse to oppose this job-killing card check legislation. I'll pledge to you that I will defend vigorously Virginia's right-to-work law, I will oppose card check, and I will fight to keep this the most business-friendly state in America. Taken over by big labor unions and have it look like Southern Michigan. Now, we've got some challenges that we have to face in transportation. To attract new businesses and jobs to Virginia, to get people moving fast back and forth to their daily jobs and to get goods and services to market, we've got to do better. In Northern Virginia, we've got to get that rail to Dulles built fast, and we've got to expand Interstate 66 to be able to make that commute time work better. In Hampton Roads, we've got to upgrade Route 460 for hurricane evacuation, for our great port, and to be able to support the United States military. To ensure that our port in Hampton Roads is the best on the East Coast, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we get that Craney Island terminal expanded, because that will benefit everyone in this state with new tax revenues and jobs. In the Valley and Southwest, we do need a wider and a safer Interstate 81. And I want to be that governor that's going to lay the foundations to finally get high-speed passenger rail in place from Washington to Richmond to Hampton Roads, connect this golden triangle here, and get people back to work. about education. It went something like this. To get a good job, you need a good education. Remember that? Well, I think that's even truer today. I want to have Virginia be the most innovative state in the country to provide the incentives that are necessary to make this the best school system in America. You know, last week President Obama was right when he called for merit pay to be able to help us retain and attract great teachers here in Virginia. He was right when he said we need more opportunity with better charter schools in this country. I agree with him on that. So we're going to create an incentive program right here in Virginia, working together to make sure that we've got the best incentives possible so that principals and teachers can be rewarded for high academic achievement and student results. I think we need to put more money into the one place that it can be best used and will get the greatest results. That's the classroom, not administration. And the time has come to say here in this great, affluent Commonwealth of Virginia that we will not tolerate failing schools, especially in those underprivileged and hard-hit communities where our young people are not getting the opportunities that they deserve to pursue the American dream. We will put an end to those failing schools. But I believe strongly that parents ultimately should make the decisions about their children's education. And so I will be a strong defender of those parents who choose to homeschool their children here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But to be more competitive, we've got to take the best and brightest minds in Virginia and America and make sure they're properly prepared for the 21st century. I will challenge every principal and every college president to make sure we find new ways to train people in these schools for math and science and engineering and technology and veterinary medicine and nursing and medicine and all the other jobs that it's going to take in order to expand our economy. I think it's also time that we inspire and rekindle trust in the honesty and openness and frugality and efficiency of Virginia government. Do you know right now in Virginia that we've got 1,000 people that are dedicated to making sure that your taxes are collected on time. But we've only got one person making sure that you don't get overcharged. Now, I think that's out of whack, and I think that ratio will change when I'm governor. Your Virginia budget has doubled in the last 10 years, 30% faster than the rate of growth in population and inflation. We need to be good stewards of the money. I think we need to institute independent audits of all the major state agencies and to have a greater level of budget transparency throughout state government. Because you know what? We spend $80 billion every 2 years. It's your money, and you ought to know where it's going. I don't know about you, but I think life's getting pretty complex sometimes in Virginia. I think that part of the goal of government should try to be to reduce the burdens on the citizens of our state and find ways to make life simpler by making government more efficient and more user-friendly. Ronald Reagan reminded us of something quite a few times. He said, you know, sometimes government is part of the problem. So I think we have great state employees here in the Commonwealth of Virginia dedicated to doing a good job. But I think we need to make government work better by being more user-friendly and focused on customer service. We have here in Virginia 23 different workforce development programs spread across 9 different state agencies. When I become governor, I'm going to provide a clear and focused message for workforce development. Train people for good jobs, stay less bureaucratic, get the job done. That's the kind of government that we'll have. For all you moms that are here today, I've got a word for you. I understand some of what you're going through as I watch my wife, Maureen, Maureen over the last 32 years, balancing the things that moms have to do. You balance children. You balance children, home, work, and everything. Must be a Democrat microphone. You balance all these challenges every day in a constant race against the clock. I think you need a governor who understands how tough this can be and is looking for solutions to make government work better. Do we really need so many permits and licenses and stickers and decals and registrations and certificates, with each of those requiring you to go to some government office, stand in line, pay a fee to get those things? I don't think we do. So I think this: every mom is a working mom. When I become governor, I think we need to have a working mom government simplicity task force to advise the governor on how to make government work better. I want Virginia to be the friendliest place in America for retirees and for veterans to stay here in Virginia. We need their wisdom, we need their talent, and I want their money to stay in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've made so much progress over the last few years fighting crime, especially with the leadership of Governors Allen and Gilmore, so we've made our community safer. But I want to make Virginia the worst state in the nation for people that are involved in gangs and those who deal drugs to our children. They should have no solace here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. At the same time, we need to make this the friendliest place in America for prisoners that leave prison and give them every leg up and every opportunity to go back to the straight and narrow and not to make new victims of our citizens here in Virginia. I will do everything I can to help bring the public and private and faith-based communities together to do the good work that they do to improve the lives of Virginia's citizens, like we did at the Attorney General's office in supporting Virginia's great food banks. I think we have to remember a fundamental lesson that our founders taught us, and that is that the measure of character in any society is how well do you take care of those who are least fortunate. I will encourage private citizens and companies to renew this great spirit of generosity and compassion to care for one another, especially in this time of an economic downturn. My favorite president is George Washington. I grew up in the shadow of Mount Vernon in Northern Virginia and lived there for 25 years. In his inaugural address in 1789, he said something that has rung through the generations we should all remember. He told the fledgling nation that the propitious smiles of heaven can never be expected to remain on a nation that disregards the eternal rules of order and right which heaven itself has ordained. In other words, values matter. Another great Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, said those immortal words in 1776, and that is that we are endowed by our Creator, not by government, with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. I believe that great truth and all those rights applies to all Americans, both born and unborn. And as governor, I will defend the right to benefit human life here in Virginia. Forming the Constitution, our founders also understood that there was a need to protect the rights of law-abiding citizens to be able to have and own firearms, and I will be a vigorous supporter of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. Our founders also understood from the English common law that pursuit of happiness meant the ability to have that sacred right to own private property, and so I will continue to do everything I can to strengthen the private property rights of Virginia citizens. My personal personal faith in God has given me a foundation for my life and for my family. It has given me a great sense of optimism and hope for a brighter day for my family and for our citizens. I know that we can make Virginia better. I've learned throughout my life some valuable lessons along the way about what can happen to produce good results for the common good if people work together and don't care about who gets the credit. I was raised in Fairfax County by a dad who fought in World War II and a mom who balanced raising 5 kids with a busy job. I learned from them some of the values that have lasted me a lifetime. My dad told me as a kid, he said, "Son, the harder you work, the luckier you get." It's true. I learned as a young kid going to Bishop Ireton High School, playing football, running track, being involved in clubs, and studying hard, that hard work pays off. During my 21 years in the Army and active and reserve time, I learned the value of teamwork and sacrifice and the joy of being part of an enterprise greater than oneself. While serving in Germany in the shadow of the Iron Curtain and looking across the river into tyranny, I learned the value and the sacrifices that have been produced for human freedom. Going to night school for 3 years in the Army, I understood and learned the value of a good education. As a manager with a Fortune 500 healthcare company, I saw the incredible productive power of the human spirit that can be unleashed when we empower hardworking people to work and create. As a prosecutor in Virginia Beach, I saw victims who were not treated fairly and criminals who were getting out of jail too early, and I learned the value of justice. So I decided to do something about it. In 1991, I ran for the House of Delegates. Surprised myself, I won. 4 years ago, you gave me the great honor of being elected to serve as your Attorney General. Through that time, and with the help of my great Chief Deputy Bill Mims and many others that are here today, we were able to establish a 25-year mandatory minimum sentences for sex offenders who commit crimes against children and crack down on drug dealers and those who commit gang violence in our state. We've made Virginia the best place in America when it comes to protecting children through the internet and also to protect citizens against identity theft. We've improved our homeland security laws here in the Commonwealth. I've been very fortunate that over that time that 92 of our 105 legislative proposals have become law by bringing Republicans and Democrats and independents together to rally around a cause of good government. So I say to you, as I ask for your help and your support and your prayers, that as with this record, and because of these experiences, that today I launched this great campaign to be the governor of Virginia. There's a great calling in front of us. We must dream big, we must act nobly, and we must get results. I believe in Virginia that anything is possible because we are a state full of opportunities, not guarantees. Thanks to growing up in a loving middle-class family, I've developed a great love for our country and our state. Thanks to my service in the United States Army, I was able to get the training and the education that has enabled me to do things beyond my wildest dreams as a young kid. And now I stand before you as a candidate for governor in the greatest state and the greatest nation that the world has ever known. Thank you very much for your help. On to victory in November. Thank you very much.